Hello my beautiful friends, it's Amanda here and today we're doing a little mini ColourPop haul and I'm mostly going to be focusing on this little tiny palette from ColourPop. This is the Pretty Much palette. This was released with their little Valentine's Day capsule collection. I picked up a couple other things from the collection, not everything. So I'll show you what I got. I am going to swatch everything, but I'm mostly going to focus on the palette today. The other things I ordered from the Valentine's Day collection are one of the Supernova shadows and two new Super Shock cheeks. They brought out a few new shades of the Supernova shadow for Valentine's Day. I just ordered this one called Prelude. These are a liquid eyeshadow. They are very intensely metallic and glittery, much like the Stila ones. I'm sure you've heard of those too. These retail for $7 and they do come with a little flat paddle applicator. This shade Prelude is an iridescent purple. It is quite sheer and it is jam-packed with glitter. Glitter is a theme in this collection. You'll see that both of the Super Shock cheek products that I ordered are very glittery as well. Speaking of those, graceful segue, these are both Super Shock cheek highlighters. They both have a glitter finish. This peachier shade is called Felicity and this iridescent white shade is called Spellbound. These are both sold for $8 a piece. Felicity seems to have a little bit more pigment to it than Spellbound. They both would make nice toppers, but I do feel that Felicity shows up a lot better on its own. I'm not a huge fan of glittery cheek highlights. I do think these would be beautiful on the eyes. Spellbound reminds me of another one that they have. This is Spellbound and this is Over the Moon. Oh yeah, those are really similar. This one's Spellbound and this one's Over the Moon. Very similar. Those are the only other products I ordered from the collection. In all honesty, I'm not super excited about those things. That's just something that happens when you try a lot. You can't love everything. However, I'm wearing this palette on my eyes today. Of course, I'll do a quick tutorial. First, I'm gonna give you a little product info. We're gonna do swatches. Spoiler alert, I do like the palette. On the outer carton that the palette came in, it says pigment palette, and then on the palette itself, it says shadow palette. I don't really know what that means, but there you have it. There are 6 shades in here. They're 1 gram each, and this palette retails for $12 on the ColourPop website. Like all the other palettes, it's a heavy-duty cardboard with a magnetic closure. The other mini palette, 6-pan palette that they've come out with, had a mirror inside. That was the Take Me Home palette. This one has no mirror. All of the shade names are pictured on the back of the box as well as on the back of the palette. This one has an even split, 3 mattes, 3 shimmers, and the last shimmer down here has a bunch of multicolored micro glitters. I'm not somebody that loves glitter shadows and I really liked this one, so take that for what you will. I'm gonna do some swatches of the palette. As always, I'm gonna be doing both finger and brush swatches. The finger swatches will be on top and the brush swatches will be below, just on the back of my hand. No primer or anything like that. And I will be using my very busted and beloved e.l.f. flat eyeshadow brush and cleaning off in between each shade using my Veramona color switch. Here's the top row of the palette. We're starting with this super intense shimmery champagne color. I'm wearing this on my inner corners today and I love, love, love it. This one's called Yabish. It might be Yabish, I don't know. I'm gonna say Yabish. You say whatever you want. Next, this super bright pinky lavender shimmer called OTP. And lastly, this brownish plum matte shade called Neither Do I. Here are the 3 shades from the bottom row of the palette. First up, we have a matte shade. This one's called NVM. In the pan, this looks like a grayish taupe. Once it's swatched out, it looks like a cool rosy mauve. Next, a deep burgundy red. This one's also a matte, and it's called Cool It. Look at that pigmentation though. Lastly, a gorgeous shimmery shade. This one's called It Me. This is a tan bronze and it is jam-packed with multicolored glitters. It's not an offensive glitter though. You know what I mean? It works with this shadow. Now that you've seen all the swatches, let's jump into a quick little tutorial using this palette and then I'll wrap up all my thoughts at the end. Of course, I'm starting by priming my eyes with my favorite eye base. It's the MAC Paint Pot in the shade Painterly. Then I just set that primer with a little bit of my Too Faced Born This Way powder. Now it's time to go into the Pretty Much palette. I'm starting off with the shade NVM or Nevermind, and I'm brushing that into my crease really softly. These shades are super pigmented, so I'm just being really careful. And now I'm taking the shade Neither Do I on a very small flat brush and very carefully building that up on the outer half of my eyelid. I'm also taking that Neither Do I shadow on the outer half of my lower lash line as well. Then I'm gonna go back with my original crease shade and I'm just gonna blend everything out. And I'm also gonna use that same shade on a different brush to blend out my lower lash line to make sure everything's really soft and smoky. Then for my all over lid shade, I'm using the shade It Me on my finger, and this shade is so intense when you apply it with the fingertip. I'm just patting that all over my lid and blending it in. This is my favorite part. Can you tell I'm excited? I'm using the shade Ya Bish on my inner corner, and that shade is so bright and so stunning. I love it. I'm definitely satisfied. Then I curled my lashes and added a little bit of the Physicians Formula Killer Curves mascara. And this is my finished look. It was super easy to do and it's so sultry and girly. I'm just really happy with how it turned out. Basically, I'm not super crazy about these products. I haven't used them yet. This box just came, so I've only used the palette. But I will tell you that if I was in store and I swatched these, I probably would not have purchased them. The jury's still out on the Supernova shadow. I'd like to try this as a topper. So apply an all matte eye look and then put this on top. I think that could be really beautiful and interesting. I'm just not crazy about glitter on my face. I'm over 30, I'm starting to get fine lines and more pores, and I just don't think that it's really flattering. It doesn't fit my style. When I was a teenager in the late 90s, early 2000s, I was all about that glitter life, vanilla scented body glitter. I'm not mad at it. I'm definitely not judging you for it. This just doesn't work with my current style. Although I think this shade Felicity would really be a go-to eyeshadow for me. I love these nudie, peach, super shimmery kind of shades on my eyes. So I will probably be using this as an eyeshadow. But yeah, I just feel kind of meh. I could have passed on these and I would have been fine. When it comes to the palette, you know I buy all the ColourPop palettes. I love the ColourPop palettes. When this first arrived and I opened it up, the color selection seems a little bit odd at first until you start pairing up the shades. And I do think these work really well together. So don't necessarily judge this book by its cover. Speaking of that, I also was not crazy about the outer packaging of this, and it's starting to grow on me a little bit more. Whether these are pressed pigments or not, obviously the packaging could not make up its mind. For me, the shimmer shades felt exactly like the other shimmers from other ColourPop palettes that I have. The mattes were really pigmented. I was happy with that. This purple shade was a little bit drier, a little bit more patchy as I applied it. I have noticed that with other purples and other ColourPop palettes as well. They just needed a little bit more work. I really love the way my eye look turned out today. I think it's interesting. It has that little pop of color, but it's not so crazy that I would feel uncomfortable wearing this out to go about my day. It's feminine, it's sparkly. I like it. I'm feeling it. So that's my 2 cents. I'm all about the palette. The other stuff is kind of mediocre, maybe a pass for me. But as always, I'd love to hear your thoughts on these products. Did you order anything from the Valentine's Day collection? Did you get things that I didn't get? I'd love to hear your thoughts. So please leave a comment, let us know what you think. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye. See that when you see the super shock cheeks? Dang it, I always say that. Well, it's not like buying 2 of the exact same shade is something that's new to me. It's definitely not. I think I'm weird, so I can only imagine what you think. Palette retails. My swatch brush. I need my swatch brush. Where is my swatch brush? Swatch brush time. So weird. You're so weird. That highlight though, just wait until you see what highlight I'm using. I'll tell you in another video. These earrings make me want to do this. As always, I already said that. You already said that. You already said that. You already said that. Okay. 1 filmed and 8 jillion more to go because I'm making up for some lost time. Okay, it's gonna be great. That's gonna be great.